So the teardown clips have no audio. I think I accidentally turned the mic off and didn't check. So it's really frustrating. I'm going to go over some of the things I talked about and let you guys know what's going on with the motor. So we took everything off, as you guys can see. And one of the things that I noticed is cylinder 6 had a leak right here. And that's not great. And this intake manifold has oil in all 6 runners. We will not be reusing this manifold. We're going to use this one that came with the spare motor. So I've just been cleaning up stuff, repainting brackets, and just getting everything prepped. I have intake to head and exhaust to head gaskets coming, and we've also got the silicone hose kit to get rid of all these and get some nice silicone ones. I had to replace this hose because it popped. There was a tiny hole in it and coolant was spraying out. And I had to do that with it in the car, and that was a nightmare. So that's one of the reasons why I decided, you know what, let's bite the bullet. It's kind of expensive, but it's really going to be worth it that I never have to change these hoses. Here's a spare motor. I still have to clean up head gasket material off of it. Thankfully, it's an iron block, so I don't have to go get it resurfaced. I can use this guy. I can use this little 3M scrubber thing in my drill. That's how I cleaned up the intake manifold gaskets on... That's how I cleaned up the intake manifold gasket on my 240 and 0 leaks. So pretty confident that'll work. I've seen other people do it with iron block motors because you can't do it with aluminum because aluminum's too soft, so it digs in too much. But with the iron, it'll just clean up the gasket material as long as you're not like really pressing. And my spare head over here has been resurfaced and gone through. Everything's a-okay on that one. We just have to swap these cams into it because these are the OEM cams, and the machine shop had a little mishap with this head and they actually broke one of the cams. So they gave me some RB26 cams for free, and they're slightly bigger than RB20 stock cams. But because we're stock ECU, no tune, no standalone, nothing, we can't run those. So we're just going to swap them over, make sure clearances are good. I'm going to rebuild the block in the head at some point just so I have another motor ready to go. We're going to be reusing this crank pulley on the new motor because this motor crank pulley was all chipped and I don't really want to run that. So we got this other crank pulley that has 0 chips, but like I showed you guys, we had oil in all the cylinders. It's worse in 4 and 5 than the rest. If you guys didn't see the video of doing the leak down test and everything, these spark plugs were entirely black, entirely covered in oil. But yeah, I've just been repainting stuff and I'm trying to make everything look decent, you know. Still going to clean up the intake manifold, and we got to take off the exhaust manifold, turbo, and all of that. I'm going to clean up that heat shield. I'm still going to run it. I'm just going to clean it up and probably paint it black, get some high heat paint. This turbo is still good, thankfully. I do have 2 other RB20 turbos, so if we needed to replace it, we could. However, everything seems good on it. We don't have any side-to-side shaft play. I would love to get a different turbo elbow or a full downpipe that has the elbow built into it. Right now, that's not too important, and apparently, once you do that, you start to run more boost because it frees up a lot of the turbo, because I guess this is super restrictive. So I don't want to mess with that. I want to keep this stock. I want to get a standalone just so we can tweak some things and we can do like minor upgrades. Like I want to go E85, but I want to do flex fuel so I can still do 91 because this is my daily and I do really long road trips, and that's kind of what killed the car. Yeah, so that's where we are. There's a couple things from this motor that I'm going to swap over to there because they just looked like they're a lot newer. Like this whole rear main seal assembly, that looks brand new, so that's going to get swapped over. The water pump is brand new. I looked at the fins on it, I looked at the blades on the inside, and every blade is intact. It spins really good. So we're going to swap that over to this one, even though this one has a new water pump. It's just been sitting and hasn't really gotten anything ran through it, so we're going to swap that over. This oil pump is also new, but it looks like it is in much better shape than this oil pump. This one, yeah, it's dirty, but it also has this, and that takes a little bit of time to develop, so I'm not gonna run that. So that is where we are at with the R32 motor. I was planning on having everything swapped in this weekend, and it's Sunday now, but fortunately that's not happening. So in the meantime, we're gonna be cleaning everything up. Gonna clean up the engine bay, fix a couple areas. There's some minor rust areas that we gotta address before they get worse. There's no better time to do it than right now with the motor out, so that's what we're gonna do. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard for me to get paint because there's specific colors that I want, and the places that I've gone to don't have it in stock, and I have some ordered right now, but they're not going to show up for another week. and I'm hoping to have the motor and everything back in by the time that the paint shows up, so that would be very unfortunate. I need the car back up more than I need the engine bay painted, so if we have everything ready to go and we just don't have the bay painted, it's gonna suck, but we just gotta forge ahead and we'll have to paint the bay some other time. Thankfully we're painting the valve cover so the motor should look good. We're painting everything on that, so the motor should look solid and that will be enough for me. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for all the content we've got coming with this motor. Well, more so this motor, but we gotta take some shit off that motor first. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.